I'm going to be talking about the current crisis in the Middle East, because there's been a series of events that's been happening, and it's escalating. So let's start with what happened on Friday, the 27th. Ironically, the 27th is the day the Society of Jesus was founded. So before I get into the Middle East, let me just bring up the fact that the Hezbollah leader was killed on the Society of Jesus being founded. Society of Jesus. The Jesuits, founded the 26th September 1540, Montmartre, Paris, France, and we get the Hezbollah leader being killed on that day, which is strange, isn't it? He was killed by Israel in an airstrike in Beirut. They confirmed that he was killed. So just a little recap here. Now, what's interesting is that his death occurred for exactly 42 years. I'm going to get to the 42 thing in a bit, because it's about 42 years since the Israelis launched an invasion of Lebanon back in the 6th of June 1982, and we're seeing another invasion once again by Israel, once again on Lebanon. So you got that happening. So let me just using gematria, which is a practice of coding numbers into words, goes all the way back to Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, the idea that the world was created using letters and numbers. World War, because it's heading towards a world war. World War equals 42, war equals 42, and Iran equals 42. Now, I mentioned Iran because Iran has launched a series of airstrikes. Launched a wave of missiles at Israel. I was at the White House, said that, warned Tehran that it was immediately planning an attack. Well, of course, obviously they're in the know, aren't they? And I mentioned about the Israeli invasion on top of that too. It's kind of strange how, when it's first reported that Israel was invading Lebanon, the media said, "Oh, it's doing ground operation, it's doing conduct raids or ground incursion." But it is literally an invasion of a country, a sovereign country. Now, I want to stress something, and I've already stressed it enough. Let me just Google the people involved in this. This guy is an actor. Understand? He's an actor playing his part as the kind of either hero or villain, depending on what side of the fence you're on. Same thing with Iran president. Oh, that's not. He's not the. Wait, he's not. Oh, sorry. He's not the current one. Who's the current one right now? Masoud. He currently serves as the president. So he's saying, that they did it on his legitimate self-defense rights, is what they're saying. So like, what I'm trying to say, this whole thing is a stage. So it's about bringing back a World War III scenario, which is what we're heading towards, which is what's happening. And I mentioned before, 42 years. So you got a number of events that happened 42 years in this past, from the 27th and this past few days. 42 years, you got from the Lebanon war in 82. 42 years you got the Hezbollah leader being killed in an airstrike. You got a ground invasion of Lebanon by Israel. Now you got Iran doing a series of airstrikes, and you get the number 42 as well. World War 42, War 42, Iran 42. You can't make this up. You literally can't. And by the way, war also equals 39, because I did recall in my last video I mentioned about 39. Just trying to find it. 39 years. Well, that's when Israel ended its ground offensive on Lebanon, 5th of June 1985. 39 years. Also worth pointing out, because it is a ground invasion, and it's been reported as being a ground invasion, ground invasion in gematria, in the keypad 7 equals 77. The word Zionist, because they're Zionist regime in the Middle East. Zionist is 77. Power is 77. Judaism is 77. I mean, this whole crisis always goes back to the Greater Israel, because that's what it is, Greater Israel. Now, this is a very old map, but what I'm trying to say about Greater Israel is, hold a second. I'm sure there's a map somewhere. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at. This one here. Yeah, that's the one. Greater Israel is about Israel literally expanding its country from where it is right now. Like Lebanon, take the whole of Palestine, get the Palestinians out of Gaza, potentially taking Syria, potentially taking Lebanon, taking Iraq, even Saudi Arabia, or parts of it, because that's what Greater Israel is. You know, they want expand their borders beyond where they are right now. It's all into a World War III scenario, where you're gonna have the West on one hand back in Israel, then you got China back in Iran, and Russia also being in that camp. But then it's also suggested that maybe Russia switches sides and just backs Israel. Thinking about Russia, they seem to like to back both sides. But the point is, all these countries are working hand in hand, because that's what it is. There's parts of this conflict that are indeed real. People are dying, people are suffering on both sides. Particularly more so the Palestinians are suffering the most, and the people in Lebanon are suffering. But it is a stage, because Hezbollah, Hamas, as I mentioned about Hamas, these are intelligence operations run by the you-know-whos, the Jesuits, the Zionists, the New World Order, CIA, MI6, Israeli Mossad, Russia, KGB, if you will. They run these organizations. They're not independent. They're playing their part in this theater of war. I'm surprised there's no one here. So that is a little explanation of what's going on in the Middle East right now. It's heading towards a kind of conflict. I'm sure most people don't want, but that's what's happening. Now, it's important to stress something also. I know they're saying about missiles, but it's quite possible, just like when the Iranians did it back in April, is that nothing. Maybe no missiles were fired upon it. Maybe it's just wag the dog. You know, wag the dog. If you remember the Hollywood movie Wag the Dog, where they were just creating the appearance of a war, faking the war. You know, maybe that's what it is, a wag the dog thing. I mean, because in the last missile operation, I mean, look, this film that came out back in '97, to avoid outbursts of public outrage over a sex scandal. Ironically, this is a script of the Bill Clinton and Lewinsky affair. Before the Lewinsky affair came out, this film came out before the Lewinsky Clinton affair. Conrad being his aide constructs a fake war against Albania. Kind of makes you wonder, how real is it? I'm not saying it's all fake. That's the one conclusion to draw. Even though there's people in the truth community that do that, I understand why they do that. I mean, look here. Look at the story here. Construct a fictional war in Lebanon, hoping the media will concentrate on this instead. Contract Hollywood producer Stanley Moss to create the war, complete with the theme of song and fake film footage of a fleeing author to arouse sympathy. So it could be that what you're seeing with the Iran striking Israel is just what it is, a script. Sorry, a theatrical event. I mean, it's like the Gulf of Tonkin, because if you remember in 1964, there's the Gulf of Tonkin incident, and as it turns out, the Gulf of Tonkin incident never actually happened. So it could be that Iran, I'm just speculating, Iran either did carry out airstrikes or it didn't, or it was just a drill. I mean, no civilians were killed in the last airstrike back in April, and so far there's no details of anyone being killed. So, like I said, I don't think Iran and Israel were any enemies. They're in bed together. So I would caution people not to believe that there's there's some kind of there's a legitimate two sides going on. While I'm here, I just want to get any latest story. Well, I wasn't gonna. I don't plan on staying too long. Iran missile attack. Okay, what's the BBC saying? The British Bullshit Corporation saying? Forget this. Video shows missiles. I mean, I won't play in case I get some copyright crap. Hundreds of missiles here. Not clear how much damage was caused. 180 missiles towards Israel. Israel military said. 110. Oh my god, are you kidding me? 110 ballistic missiles. Keep in mind, yesterday was 110. Let me just remind you right now. Get a date calculator right here. Date calculator. 110. I was thinking about that 110. I'm thinking, hey, 110, like the Twin Towers are 110 stories. I know it says 10-1, but 110 in reverse. 110. I mean, what the hell? I mean, you can't make this up. 110 ballistic missiles. 110. The World Trade Center. I mean, that's what. When I think of 110, I think of the World Trade Center. It's 110 stories long. like I say, you just can't make this shit up. You just can't. Twin Towers, 110. Not quite 110. Oh yes, it is. Yeah. Sorry. Let me click on that. Yeah, Twin Towers is 110. Yeah, this is an old version of the geometric calculator. It doesn't look like this right now. I'm just using it as a reference. So you got 77. Twin Towers is 77. Twin Towers is 110, and 110 ballistic missiles. I'm just showing you that the 110 is a relevant number because we've seen it used on 9/11 because the Twin Towers are 110 stories long, and the Twin Towers equals 110. And we get the Iranian missile strike yesterday, and they launched, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but 110 ballistic missiles. 7:45 local time, 4:45 p.m. Hypersonic missiles have been used. Again, we just know from both sides that this attack did happen. They're saying they did it because of what happened to the Hamas leader being killed and the Hezbollah chief. They said they carried out this attack because you know one of its top commanders was killed in the region. But as I keep saying, this is an all staged event, completely staged. Okay, I'm gonna end this stream now. So thanks for joining me, whoever came in. Appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I mean, recently I've been getting some new subscribers. Some people are interested in content, so I appreciate that. So thank you for that. And have a good day. See you guys soon.